Hello everybody, this is Sanu Das. Welcome to Geography with Sanu. In this particular video, we try to understand what is relative dating and what is absolute dating and its basic principle and its techniques or method through which relative dating and absolute dating done. So first to know the relative dating and absolute dating, we know about what is dating in geology. So in the field of geology, dating is an important term as it's a technique through which evaluations regarding the age or period about the fossils remains the archaeologist to the valuable and artifacts. So dating is a method or technique through which we can determine the age of an fossils or isn't any kind of rocks or events and specimen in geological history. Through this technique is called dating. So when geologists, in other terms, when geologists date rock, they are determining how long ago they formed. So we find out the rocks, the age of the rocks, or in which period the rocks are formed. So it is dating. It is called, the term in geology is called dating. So before to go the relative dating and absolute dating, one term also point out here, the chronology. Chronology is the arrangements of events or the material which represent them in order of their occurrence in time. So chronology is then arrangements of events or material which represent them in order their occurrence in time. So chronology, in other terms, chronology is the arrangements of events in the order of their occurrence in time. Chronology is an arrangements of events or arrangements of any kind of history in the order of their occurrence in time. So next is types of dating. So dating is in two types. One is relative dating and another is absolute dating. So first we know what is relative dating. Relative dating method estimate whether an object younger or older than other thing found at site. So relative dating is a method which estimate the whether the object is younger or older than one another. Relative dating does not offer a specific date. It simply allows to determine if one artifacts or fossils or stratigraphic layer or rock layer is older than another. So in this diagram we present a diagram. Here we represents our family member, like our first grandmother, and then is our father, and next is mother, and our elder sisters, and so on younger age. So this is highest age to lowest age, so older age to youngest age. So this is our family members. For examples of relative dating, like this, rock strata also is a layer to oldest to youngest. Oldest is in the bottoms of the rock strata, the oldest layers are lying, and the top of the rock strata, the youngest layers are lie. So this is a concept of relative datings about rock strata. So now relative dating has several principles, but the main principles, 5 main principles are: law of superpositions, principle of lateral continuity, principles of original horizontality, principle of cross-cutting relationship, and rule of inclusions. So first is law of superpositions. The principles of superpositions explain that rock layers higher up are the younger than rock layer below. The oldest rock are the bottoms, and the layer as each successive layer forms above them. Structure forms above them. The law of superposition states that in undisturbed horizontal sedimentary rocks, the bottom layer is the oldest, and the top layer is the most youngest layer. And in this here we represent a diagram. Is the oldest layers is the bottoms of the rock strata, and youngest layer is the top, youngest layers in the top. So it is in principles of superposition. Next, the principle of lateral continuity. Sediments are deposited in large continuous sheet or lateral directions. The layers continue until the layers are deposited continue until this out meet a barrier. Something a river might cut through layer, but placement does not change. The deposition's placement does not change, means when the river cut the layer, after this the depositions is a continuous process in horizontal manner or lateral directions. The law of lateral continuity refers to how layers of sediments extend in all directions horizontally unless a river erodes them or an earthquake moves them. So lateral continuity refers that how layers of sediments are extended in all directions horizontally unless a river erodes them, until a river erodes them and a sudden earthquake moves them. So this is a principle of lateral continuity about the depositions of sediments. So next is the principle of original horizontality. So layer of sediments are generally deposited in a horizontal positions. Folding and inclinations occur after deposition. So this principle claims that layers of sediments are generally deposited in a horizontal positions. Folding and inclinations occurs after depositions. So in other terms, principle of horizontality states that layer of sediments are originally deposited horizontal manner under the actions of gravity. This means that the slope of the layer must have occurred after the layer formed. So this is a principle of relative dating. Next, the principle is law of cross-cutting relationship. Any features that cut across a rock, or layers of sediments is younger than the rocks or layers it's cut. So this principle says that any features that cuts across a rock or layer of sediments is younger than the rock or layer it cut. So this is a cross-cutting relationship. So next is the principle of inclusions. Included rock fragments must be older than the rocks in which they are found. So this principle claim that included rock fragments must be older. Inclusions rock or included rock fragments must be older the rock in which they are found. So the law of inclusion states that if a rock body contained fragment of another rock body, it must be younger than the fragment of rock it contained. This law principle or law of inclusions state that if a rock body contained fragments of another rock body, it must be younger than the fragments of rock it contained. So this is another principle of relative dating, and through this diagram we easily represent that. And other principles are principle of faunal successions and principle of unconformity. What is unconformity? Unconformity means that a gap forms in a series of rock layers due to erosions. A gap is formed between a series of rock layers. What is faunal successions? Fossils of plants and animals are grouped according to the period of geological time they appeared. So faunal successions is a principle of relative dating which subjected that fossils of plants and animals are grouped according to their evolution in a geological period of time. So these are the all principles of relative dating. In this diagram we at a glance we represent this. So this is in superpositions. Younger is the bottom and the oldest layer is the bottom, and youngest layers at the top, and this is in and this is in cross-cutting relationships, says the cross-cutting relationship, which claim that the the features which cut the layers is younger than it cut. So original horizontality, the principle of superpositions, cross-cutting relationship, and the principle of inclusions are the main 5 principles of relative dating. So we know about what is absolute dating. So absolute dating methods provide more specific origin date and time ranges, such as a age range in years. How specific these dates can be will depend on the what methods in use in absolute dating. So absolute dating is the technique by which researchers calculate the exact age of any specimen in which time period they occurred, using a wide range of scientific principles and phenomena. Absolute dating determines the actual age of a rock fossils in years. So this is an absolute age. Earlier in relative dating we know that the grandmother is the oldest, and next is the father and mother, and so on. But here a number is defined. The father, father age is 39, and grandmother age is about grandmother prefers relative datings, and mother's age is 37, and elder sister is 11, and younger is 7. So it is a definite number which indicate a particular age or particular times in year. So absolute dating and relative dating in these slides we represent absolute dating and relative dating at a glance. Geological time, two types. Geological dating, two types. One is relative dating. Relative dating is also called as qualitative dating, and absolute dating is quantitative dating. Relative dating is qualitative dating, and absolute dating is quantitative dating. In this diagram we simply represent this oldest rock and youngest rock is in a scenario. So now we discuss about the technique or methods of relative dating. So first is there are six techniques or methods of relative dating: stratigraphy, typology, cross dating, sequence dating or seriations, paleontology, and fluorine dating. First is stratigraphy. Now stratigraphy is a branch of geology concerned with the study of rock layers. The study of rock layers is called the strata, and layering stratifications. The rock layers is called strata, and when we layered the rocks is called stratifications. It is primarily used the study of sedimentary and layered volcanic rock. Stratigraphy has three related subfields: lithostratigraphy, biostratigraphy, and chronostratigraphy. So stratigraphy involves studying layer or sedimentary rocks or soils. Stratigraphy involves studying layers of rocks, of sedimentary rocks or soils. If objects are found within a specific layer, it can provide insight into their relative age. So stratigraphy is methods or techniques of relative dating. Archaeologists use the principles of superpositions, which state that the oldest layers is always at the bottoms, and while the youngest layers is at the top. For example, if you were looking at a cliff face, you would look for layers of sedimentary rock. The oldest layers would be at the bottoms, and the youngest layers would be at the top. So this is a principle of stratigraphy. And next, or this is methods or techniques of relative dating. This is stratigraphy technique of relative dating. And next is relative dating is diagrams of stratigraphy technique. So next technique or method is typology. Next technique or method is typology. What is typology? Typology is systems of relative dating that classified objects according to their type. For example, you might have a type of pottery that was popular in the early 19th century. By looking at the typology of an object, you can often determine when it was made. So this is typology is technique through which we can is relative dating technique through which we can estimate the age or any specimens or events of which happened in geological history. So in archaeology, a typology is the result of the classifications of things according to their physical characteristics. Now next methods or technique is cross dating. In archaeology, a method of dating object, remain, etc. by comparisons and correlations with other sites or levels. Cross dating is an important principle in dendrochronology. It consists in comparing and matching two or more series of rings with measured on different trees. So it is an sub branch of discipline. So dendrochronology is the ultimately based on cross dating. Dendrochronology is then ultimately based on cross dating. Due to internal climate variability, tree rings develop a characteristic sequence of wide and narrow, and this sequential growth of patterns of several trees. Through this, the cross dating seasons method through we study the dendrochronology. So dendrochronology, and next method is sequence dating. Sequence dating, an archaeological relative dating method, allows the assemblage to the arrange of rough serial order which then taken indicate time. Sequence dating is a method of seriations developed by Egyptologist Sir William Matthew Flinders Petrie by linking the pottery with the different time period. So this is also methods of relative dating or technique of relative dating. Paleontology. What is paleontology? Paleontology is the study of the history of the live earth as based on fossils. So paleontology is the study of the history of the earth based on the fossils. So paleo means past, onto means existing, and logy means to study. Three Greek word. It's derived from three Greek word. One is paleo means past, onto means life, logy means study. So the study of the past life is called paleontology in other terms, or paleontology is the study of fossils through which we can determine the history of the life history of the earth, life history of the earth. And next is fluorine dating. Next is fluorine dating. Fluorine dating is relative dating method or technique used for dating bones and teeth. This method measured the concentrations of fluorine which is absorbed from the surrounding soils into the animal's bones and teeth over time. A higher concentrations of fluorine suggest a greater age, and lower concentrations of fluorine suggest younger age. However, as a fluorine absorption rates can vary based on local environment conditions, fluorine dating is used more to compare the relative age bones from the same site rather than the determining the exact age. So it is a method or technique of relative dating. Next, we discuss about the methods or techniques of absolute dating. So there are 7 methods or techniques of absolute dating: carbon dating, potassium argon dating, thermoluminescence, dendrochronology, electron spin resonance, amino acid dating, and obsidian hydration. So first one is carbon dating. Carbon dating is a widely used method in determining the age of organic material that were once living. The method is based on the radioactive decay of carbon-14, C14, and isotope of carbon with atomic mass of 40 and 14. It works by measuring the ratio of C12 and C14 in the atmosphere as well as the plants of animals that acquire carbon through photosynthesis and food consumption. So carbon dating is a process is an absolute dating technique. Carbon dating or radiocarbon dating is an absolute dating systems which makes the possible to establish fairly approximate dates or organic material. So this process or these techniques only work on organic material, carbon content which are contained carbon and hydrogen bonds in their composition. It based on the law of exponential decay radioactive isotopes. It use the carbon 14 isotope and purpose is to the date of organic matter sample. Carbon 14 exchange by living beings with the atmospheres and present the all organism but half life. And here is a concept of half life in a particular carbon dating. It is I make a video about carbon dating reasons. I make a particular video about carbon dating there. Then we discuss about all this, what is half life and so on. So carbon dating is a method, widely method determine the age of organic material through the carbon C14 and carbon C14 and carbon C12 and C14 measurement. So this is carbon dating, and this is all the process of about carbon dating, how the nitrogen carbon dioxide comes and its works and beta decay, half life, what is half life and what is radioactive decay. So next is the potassium argon dating. The methods of determining potassium argon dating is also a absolute dating method determining the time of origins of rock by measuring the ratio of radioactive argons or radioactive potassiums in the rock. This dating method is based upon the decay of radioactive potassium 40 to radioactive argon 40 in minerals and rocks. So in other terms, potassium argon dating a radiometric dating method that measures the ratio of potassiums to argons isotopes in rocks to determine their age. So next is thermoluminescence. So thermoluminescence dating is a technique that is based on the analysis of light release when heating crystalline material. When we heat the crystalline material, the light is released. Through this light we can determine the age of rock. So this is another method or technique of absolute dating. So in other terms, thermoluminescence is an emission of light from some minerals and certain other crystalline material. The light energy released is derived from the electron displacements with the crystals and such as the substances caused by previous exposure and high energy radiation. So this is another process or methods of absolute dating. And next is dendrochronology is one of the most important technique in absolute dating. What is dendrochronology? So is scientific methods of dating the tree rings to exact year to find out the exact year they were formed in a tree, as well as dating them in the give data of dendroclimatology, the study of climate and atmospheric condition during different period of history of the form from the wood of old trees. So dendrochronology derives from the ancient Greek word dendrons meaning the tree, and chronos meaning the time, and logia meaning the means the study. So dendrochronology is the scientific methods of dating of tree rings to find out the exact year they were formed or exact to find out the exact age of the tree. Is a method to find out the exact age of the tree. So this is all about dendrochronology. And another method or technique is electron spin resonance dating. So this is also a technique used to date minerals which radiocarbon dating cannot, including minerals, biological material and foods etc. Electron spin resonance dating in earth science and archaeology refers to effects of accumulated region minerals relative time, thus as the luminescence absolute. It is also luminescence types, but it is also a type about luminescence concept. Next is the amino acid dating. So amino acid dating is a technique used to estimate the age of specimens and paleobiology, molecular paleontology, archaeology, forensic science and forensic science, sedimentary geology and other fields. These techniques relates changes in amino acid molecules to the time escaped since they were formed. So this is the technique relates the change in amino acid molecules to the time since they were formed. So all living organism contain amino acid. Living organisms have left rotating formations. Amino acid formations is dextro right rotating. After an organism dies, D divided by L ratio can gives the age of the sample. So this is a method of absolute dating. And next and final method is obsidian hydration. Fresh surface of obsidians will react with water from the atmospheres of soil and create a hydration rind. The thickness of hydration rind can be measured and used to tell the age of the sample. Mainly used in archaeology, can also date glacial and volcanic events. So these all the methods or technique of absolute dating. Next we represent a difference between absolute dating and relative dating. So absolute dating, a technique used to determine the exact age of a artifact or site using the methods such as carbon dating. So in these points we point out that carbon dating is one of the most important and one of the carbon dating is a most important method in absolute dating. And relative dating, whereas relative dating, dating, a technique used to determine which object or item is older is in comparison to the other one, and it determines the numerical age. Arrange fossils in an order, but relative dating arrange fossils or rocks in an order. Four methods are radiometric dating, amino acid dating, dendrochronology, thermoluminescence, and involves biostratigraphy, cross dating, etc. And precision is high, precision is low, quantitative measurement and qualitative measurement work better for igneous and metamorphic rocks, work better in sedimentary for sedimentary rocks having layers arrangements of sediments. Expensive, and it absolute dating also very expensive and takes much more time. Less expensive and efficient relative dating. And next is conclusions. Thus there is a two main approach in geological dating. One is relative dating and another is absolute dating. Both dating methods have some significance and some drawback, but absolute dating claim more scientific view than relative dating. And present point of view, absolute dating also has been a revolutionary factor in archaeological study, such as it has completely changed our knowledge about human origins and about how it is developed. Nowadays the technology is very strong and it's allowed the dating to becomes easier, efficient and more accurate. So this is all about relative dating and absolute dating. I hope you understand the concept of relative dating and absolute dating. So thanks for watching.